But before we continue, guys, I want to introduce you guys to Crysta of Crysta Taylor Creative. You might have seen her work with Ocean Creations. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah. So, your husband was doing he had a school project, and you did the project for him. Is that it?
Put that on the record.
Okay. We won't mention his name, his school, or the grade, the A that he got.
But yeah, basically, I just got to play with web design a little bit, and then I actually liked it, which was kind of a change because I remember making my first websites for a photo. It was like a horrible experience. So I kind of could see that side. And then I didn't think much of it. And then one of my clients, her name is Nicole. She owns Loco Coco Aesthetics, which is like a Botox and filler and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. She has always been a wonderful client, and she booked me for photo. And then at some point, she's like, "Hey, Crysta, do you do web design?" And I'm like,
yeah.
I haven't ever done it professionally, but I'm confident I could do it. And she's like, "Okay, I trust you. Go for it." So then I did that, and then she's kind of well known in the Boss Babe community, or I'd say she's well known in the Boss Babe community. So after that, I posted about it a little bit, and then a spa owner, Julie of Indulge, she reached out and had me do hers, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
And then just picked up clients from that point.
Yeah, and then of course, as photographer, I'm like, how can we like
integrate
merge
the two? Right.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up? I mean, of course, your primary service was always photography, and that's kind of that's your thing. You're great at it. How did you end up merging the two?
I think that when I was designing websites, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish there was a photo like this for me to use here, or something like this to use here. And then, like you said, people kind of knew me more as a photographer anyway. So I just was like, put together a couple packages, some with photo in it.
Okay.
And then I guess is like, we can get the content you need from the website. You can also use that for
website.
Yeah, plus like you'll have all that content to use on social media. And then I guess that's it. I started shooting too.
So you ended up becoming a creative director as well for these clients, not just a photographer, not just their website builder, but a creative director in a sense where you're building their brand, you're building their website based upon their vision.
Yeah.
And is that something that when you started doing photography, when you first started doing photography, is this kind of where you imagined yourself, or?
No, not at all. I guess I've been through a lot of phases of photography. When I first became interested, I would be obsessed with Casey Cowie, and she was shooting weddings at the time. So I'm like, I want to be a wedding photographer. And then my dad in the beginning phases was like against photography as career in general. Not super against it. He himself was like non-conventional and entrepreneur. So he always like kind of encouraged me in that way. But when it came to photography, he's like, you don't want to be a photographer. Don't you want to make money? And I'm like, watch. Yeah. So wedding photography. And then I got to shadow a female photographer who does like campaigns and more brand photography ones. And then I'm like, she was working with a model, and I'm like, whoa, like I never saw a model like in action before. And I'm like, damn, you just know what to do. Like, that's amazing. So then I was like, okay, I want to be a brand photographer. And then I was doing that for a while. And then there came this point where my dad's like, you need to start making money. Like, so
take this seriously, make it a job.
So I was making little here and there. And then everyone always is like, weddings are where the money is. So I'm like, okay. Reached out to some wedding photographers, and then Mel and Bal of Vivid Photos brought me onto their team to second shoot. And I kind of was like, wiggled my way into doing more. Like they mentioned in my initial interview with them that they're like, do you like writing? Because you have some blog posts that need to be written. And I'm like, yeah. So that night I went home and I'm like rewrote a couple of their blog posts. And I'm like, here, I did this. So they became amazing mentors to me. And they were really great or are really great at branding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you think
like
a lot of what you're doing now with the branding and with the websites kind of came from
totally.
them?
Yeah. Because they were my first seeing of how giving your business a brand really like makes an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were doing it with their own business, and then they were having me doing some graphic design stuff for them. So that's how I learned Photoshop and all of
Okay.
that. And then I got to like implement that into my brand. And then I'm like, when I did go on my own, I was kind of assessing what roles there I like love doing the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I loved like all of the graphic design stuff. And so
Pretty much
that's
every
kind of
part of
how,
that process then.
yeah.
And like a lot of the clients that you have now, are they mostly female clients?
Yes.
Is there, like, I mean, of course, I'm sure it's a comfort thing, and being able to relate better upon, with what their needs and what their wants are, and just the market in general. But, with that, what kind of hurdles do you find just dealing more like strictly with women versus a good diverse crowd of men and women owners?
I don't know. I don't have too many things that I feel like are hurdles with that. I feel like there are a ton of women in business, so I don't necessarily feel like I'm lacking business because that's my specialty. And I do take on male clients if they're cool. Like we vibe,
Yeah.
But I definitely like target my marketing towards women, and I straight up say like specializing in women.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I know you said boss babes earlier.
Yeah.
Describe that term. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I want to hear it from a female. Like, what does that mean to you when you hear that?
First of all, a boss babe is a woman with a business who's doing her thing. Like, she's found something she's passionate about, and she's taking that courageous step of doing the damn thing, like, and killing it, Or even for my clients that are more so starting out, it's like a huge deal to start a business and to do everything and like go against other people who think that you should just have a safe job and all of that. And so, yeah, I guess a boss babe is a bad bitch. And she's doing what she wants to do and like just sending it, taking action and going for what she really wants.
How are you, with your business, helping them create their website, get their content? How do you feel you're empowering them more, like higher, I guess, with that boss babe in mind? Like, what is your mentality when dealing with these clients?
Well, I feel like it's almost like giving their brand a makeover, or even like creating something that when they look at it, they're like, damn, like, yeah, that's who I am as a business. And like, that's the vibe that I want to come across. And I also help with kind of figuring out their brand message and like, okay, yes, you do lashes or something, but why? Like, what do you want people to feel from this? And like, I guess making it a little bit deeper of like, why are you really doing this? So that this busy like mom can wake up and feel beautiful.
Nice.
It's not just
going there, taking
at
the
surface
photo.
level,
Right. And so as far as your creative roles, like, how many of your clients have a creative director that you work directly with versus you stepping into that position and helping them out? Like you said, picking their brains, asking, what do you want? Who are you? What is your brand identity? And growing it for them.
I would say 98% I'm that.
Oh, wow.
And it's a lot more rare that I'm working with somebody else. It's kind of like a lot of my clients they've been doing it and they have lots of great ideas and they've been executing it, but they just want to like fine tune it a little bit more. Or some are just starting out and they're like, I know what I'm going for, but again, just kind of smoothing out the edges, and I'll help with wording of things too, and just like listening to them and then being like, okay, so is what you're trying to say this? And then they're like, yes! And I'm like, okay, perfect. And we'll kind of run with that.
Nice. You know, it's great hearing you empowering other women. And over time, how do you think you gained your sense of style? I mean, looking at Instagram, looking at your portfolio, looking at all those shots, I know that's your shot. I'm like, oh, the style, the edits, and just the overall feel. How do you think you developed your style over time?
First of all, thank you. Because I remember when I was starting out, I always wanted a style. And I would love looking at other photographers who like had that distinct style. And I'm like, like exactly what you said. I know that it's you. As far as how I developed it, I don't know. I guess I don't have like a deep answer for it. Like I like what I like and I like how things look, and then I use like the same preset for literally everything I do. So
how much editing do you do, like as far as your post process? So after you go out and shoot, how much time are you devoting to like editing?
So I guess it depends on the shoot and what's going on and how much stuff is in the picture that I don't want to be there.
Photoshop.
Like, yeah. If it's like a perfect pristine day and it's like on an empty beach, then maybe like 6 to 8 hours total goes into editing.
Okay.
If it's like
a crazy
mid-Waikiki
day, yeah.
and there's like a bunch of stuff, then I don't know, maybe like double that. I guess I don't have a set time. It's kind of like looking at it and then assessing like, it would just be so much better if that wasn't there. I'll kind of try to take the time to get it out or like blend the shadows up and all of that kind of stuff.
And going out, you know, like that particular style, is it like a natural light? Are you using a lot of not filters, but a lot of flashes or reflectors?
So majority of my work is natural.
Okay.
And I've been starting to play with flash a little bit, just like on camera, and I have some different like filters, I guess, to spread the light a little bit. But the majority of my work in my career is all like natural light. Sometimes when I'm working with my clients in like their shops, I work with lots of like beauty professionals and they have like ring lights and we're like pointing that at them.
Things that you could already use.
Yeah. But yes, I have major respect for every flash master because it's so freaking complex and it's awesome. And one day maybe that will be something that I can learn more about and like get really great at. But yes, at this moment and for my career, it's been natural light for the win.
Nice. I mean, that, you know, it works, you know. And same thing, like for me coming from the studio, using flashes a lot, going out and shooting natural light, it's not always the easiest. You know, you think, okay, just point, it's, you know, like not too much thought goes into it. But to me, I'm finding that there's a lot more that you have to consider as far as shadows, the available light, the positioning, where the sun is, and all that kind of stuff. So, no, it's definitely a skill set. It's definitely an art. So yeah, I give you credit for establishing your look and your brand identity around that.
I feel like that, I never thought about it that way, but when you are using flash like in this setting, you kind of are like, you get to expect what it's going to look like. And you get to like kind of create that. But natural, it is a lot of like, oh, the sun's out, the sun's not out. The sun's out, it's like, okay.
You're going to get what you get based upon the sun and all your ambient,
But shooting in RAW definitely is like a lifesaver.
What kind of camera are you using?
I have a Canon 5D Mark III.
Nice. Okay. So nice
Yeah.
full frame camera.
Mm-hmm.
What is your go-to lens?
24 to 70.
That's kind of like the go-to portrait lens, that all around versatile that you, yeah.
Yeah. I love the diversity that I can have wide to more tight in like an instant.
Mm-hmm. Nice. You know, over this whole duration of you shooting, any any horror stories with customers or clients, you know, like what was the biggest obstacle you had to hurdle over?
So, one instance in particular comes to mind. And this was years ago. And luckily, I have the freaking best clients ever. Like, I haven't had any really horror stories for a while. But one that comes to mind is once in the beginning years of my photography career, I had this guy that was proposing to his girlfriend want me to like surprise shoot it.
Okay.
So he was gonna propose at like around Spitting Caves area. He like had all the candles and everything set. And then I shot and it was like a beautiful moment. It was all wonderful. And I was like, I felt good about it. And then when I delivered the photos, he was very unhappy. He was like, I can't remember exactly, but just hated it. Like
Really?
he wanted it to be shot with flash is what like the thing is, but he didn't know that in words.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know because at the very end he's like, I want the sky to be like you can see all the sunset colors brightly and then wear this color.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't come till like way later.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he just was super unhappy and he's like, you basically ruined like this important moment of my life. So we're gonna redo it. So he literally sets this up again, like while the fiance is watching on like another day so that like I can try it again and like runs through the whole scenario again, which is so odd.
Oh man. Yeah, how do you fake that again? I mean for the fiance, right? Like how do you fake that surprise?
Like just like why?
You know,
but I don't know. I to this day feel like I did my best with that project, but that was my most horror story. And I feel like, too, if anybody's out there and thinking about hiring a photographer, look at what their stuff looks like.
Right.
And then if it doesn't look like what you want, then pick somebody that it looks like what you want.
You know what? That kind of leads me to my next thing. You know, like, again, you have a very distinct style, a distinct look. When clients come to you, do you have to explain, hey, this is my style. This is what you're going to get. Or do clients come to you knowing that, and that's, you know, what you give them is what they get?
Yeah. I would say for the most part, when people come to me, they lots of times will follow me on Instagram and they have an idea of my style and they kind of like it and vibe with it. I don't make it a huge thing to like explain in my meetings, but I do throw it out there like, have you seen my photos? Okay, that's what it's gonna look like. And sometimes I'll have clients that like really it's important for them to have true to color. And I understand that because especially if you're selling a product,
right,
you want your product photo to look like the product.
Right. You don't want it to be a bit warmer than it actually is. Right. Which
can be a difficult thing in editing. But I try, and I'm open to it sometimes for clients. But of course, I love editing in my style, and like, I just think my work looks prettier in my style because I know how to like tweak it more. Yeah, I prefer it that way. But I understand. I'm just trying to help people, you know. So if they specifically ask, then I'm open to it.
Nice. Who's one of the bigger models or celebrities that you've worked with locally? Because I know you photographed Moani Hara, you know. Who else have you photographed that's kind of on that A list of yours?
Yeah, I guess you took it out of my mouth. I was thinking Moani. I've also shot with Julie Chu, who is
Nice.
another Miss Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I just shot for her brand actually, which is Oysters Hawaii. They
Okay.
do like mobile oyster shucking. So I got to have Allie in front of my camera too, who's her sister, who's another Miss Hawaii. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I've gotten to shoot Princess May, Bretman Rock's sister.
Oh, okay.
Um,
How'd you end up, or what was that shoot?
So I did my first shoot with her was just kind of like a portfolio building, like just to get content for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did another shoot with her that was for a brand that she was working on. But we haven't gotten to release those. But yeah, I'm not sure like who I love my girls and I
Or what about working with Brentman? You never tried to say, hey, does your brother need anything? No.
I never tried. I feel like I would love to work with him, obviously, because he's a bad bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like it to come naturally. And I never, yeah, I would like it to be like he is into it versus
Right.
being like
Hey, give me this.
convinced,
Yeah.
you know?
Gotcha. Is there, I mean, of course, Brentman, and, I really respect that idea of you want these clients to look at your portfolio and want to be, know that that's what they want and come to you. But is there any other people that's on your list of like, hey, I wish I could, not wish I could work with them, but it would be super cool to work with them, photograph them, or anything like that?
Yeah. I guess one person I would love to shoot is Kalia Moniz. She's a Roxy girl and famous longboard surfer, and I just think she's gorgeous and such a beautiful surfer, and like also a bad bitch in her own right. Like, super confident, and she definitely has a style of just who she is, and I'd love to shoot her one day.
Nice. And we always hear that. I mean, hearing that term, that boss woman and that bad bitch, right? What in Hawaii, like moving forward, like what changes do you think needs to be made so that women are empowered more to take it to the next level and not be so, like intimidated by the what ifs and all of that kind of stuff?
Truthfully, I feel like it's already in play. I feel like
Nice.
there's a lot of women in business and who are killing it. And I love to see that. And it inspires me too as a business owner to like every day get to talk to clients who are doing it and successfully are full time, like doing what they love. It's like an everyday boost to myself of like, girl, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to like show other women that they can do it too. And as far as things changing, I mean, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe more education towards women in business or I'm not sure exactly what. I feel like we're on a great track and there's already a lot of women doing it. And I feel like that has an effect in itself. Like exactly how I feel so inspired by these women. I feel like other women are seeing them do it too. And then they're like, maybe I could do that. And then that'll just keep snowballing into having
Bigger,
an
bigger, and
island
bigger.
of amazing female entrepreneurs.
Definitely. And I definitely agree with you with more and more women business owners coming into play. And I think that's really great. Just a few weeks ago, we had a business owner along with their social marketing director here. And it's kind of funny, like that term that boss bitch came up, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, that's a thing. And to hear it, it is really empowering and it is really motivating. Just hearing them, like, oh yeah. On a regular basis, like what do you listen to? What do you watch to get you motivated? I know you said you kind of went through that creative slump, after COVID, and it was just kind of like, but what, on a regular basis, what do you watch or what do you read to get pumped up?
Okay, I'm going to go a little hippie on you here. One documentary that I love is The Secret. Have you ever heard of it by any chance?
No, I thought you were saying it's a secret. I was like, oh, are you gonna tell me?
Yeah, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
So it's this documentary about the law of attraction. Have
Okay.
you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it kind of explains how it works, and I guess for me, when I watched it, it showed me that I have more of some type of control and impact on my life than things just randomly coming at me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an amazing thought for me, to think that I can kind of have a life by design and kind of put out into the universe or to God what I want in my life, and to see that kind of be attracted back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want is to be creative and to have these wonderful projects and to be able to genuinely help women in business, and the list goes on. But with that, what I like to watch and listen to or read are like books in that realm of
Mm-hmm.
like how to kind of improve in that way, and then kind of focusing my thoughts on those things that I do want and goodness. And it talks about how we kind of attract the energy back to us that we put out. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like trying to feel happy and feel good and put out
So it all
goodness
comes
to
back.
others. Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. And then I love looking at other people's work. It's definitely like, wow, that's so cool. Like, it's awesome that you thought of that. And I don't know. I guess I also just like to sit and think about things or look at nature and
Mm-hmm.
be inspired by that as
Is
well.
that where you find a lot of like inspiration for your work, or just kind of applying it to your shoots?
Yeah, I would say nature is like my favorite thing. And so it's just crazy, the amazing design of nature, really. I think about it all the time. And I just see it and I'm like, oh, that's just happening like that? Like, what? So I do think I take a lot of inspiration from that.
Nice, 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 nice.
And to add to that, sorry,
No.
besides nature, I also feel that I take inspiration from my clients. So listening to what they want and what their values are in business, it's like sometimes what they say of why they do what they do or how they want to make people feel is like surprising to me. I'm like, oh, I never thought about it like that, but that's so cool.
And you kind of apply it to your day-to-day. You apply it to your business, and
Yes,
yeah.
but also for their shoot and design specifically too. It's like, oh, that's what's important to you. Okay, well, how can we like visualize that in a photo
And showcase
like
that.
Yeah, how can we bring that to life in a picture? And then we'll kind of go from there.
Nice. Okay. So again, thank you for stopping by. We love having you. And just to kind of wrap up here, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years from now?
I think in 3 to 5 years from now, I will be even happier than I am today. And my business will continue to thrive, and I'll be able to help even more women in business than ever before. I would hope that I have a team that's working with me of other awesome women. I have one designer with me now, Lizzie, who I love. So more Lizzies. And I don't know, in 5 years maybe I'll have some little babies. I don't know. I guess I would hope that I'm still doing what I love and everything's slowing and we just get to keep helping more women.
If you had all the power to, and you do, you do have all the power to do so, but if you did have that ability to change something or improve something instantaneously, what would be that next, or what would you do next to help empower more women? Like if you would have like a big workshop on education on business, you would have a, I don't know, like if you could just do anything's big, small to empower women, like what would that be?
What a great question. Well, I have lots of ideas of events and things that would be really fun and could empower women that I'd love to bring to life. So maybe in 5 years, I'll also have done some of those.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could just snap and have exactly what I wanted, I would say maybe a team of amazing girls who I can trust and who hustle and who have vision and who could kind of allow us to help to have that capacity to
Mm-hmm.
just do way more. That would be awesome because I trust that my team is coming, but it can be a little bit difficult sometimes finding the right fits and people who you really align with because
Mm-hmm.
that's important to me. Like I need to,
Yeah,
we need to
especially
be
a
on
small
the same.
business, small business, local business owner. You don't have like a corporate team around you. You just have yourself and just a few others that you can really rely on, so
And I would want them to also have the vision and the desire of like helping women too, because I feel like that's powerful in itself. So that's what I would be my snap my fingers wish.
perfect. And you know what? I think that's a great way to end it. Again, thank
Okay.
you, Krista, for coming by. We really love having you. Check out Karma Club Hawaii, and we'll see you guys next time.